Hi, it's Holly here from roastmylandingpage.com, and today I'm going to talk you through a recent landing page rework that I completed in partnership with the founder of the business. This video hopefully can show you how much can be done with copy changes. We didn't really make that many structural changes. What I'm going to do is draw some parallels with the historic site and the news site and explain some of the logic that informed the page changes that we made. This is the old landing page, which is actually a screen grab. This element was originally animated, but this is the original landing page for Nomad Cooks. And the new landing page that we worked on for maybe about 10 to 15 hours is this. To explain a little bit about the nature of this business, this is a marketplace connecting buyers and private chefs who will come to your home and cook a meal for you. And you can consider it something like Airbnb for a private or a personal chef. Originally, we had this hero which said, make your event magical, hire a local private chef for home, book a chef, prices from £20 a head. And you had your menu and the book a chef call to action in the navigation. And here was a large video that sat behind the hero. Down here, we had the trust signals. The first changes that we made were just to standardize, if I'm totally honest, this hero to follow a more established format. First of all, I hated the busy video sitting behind the hero copy. I think it made it quite hard to scan and interpret quickly. So instead, we moved the video here. And originally, this video, the thumbnail was the brand logo. So it said Nomad Cooks, and we switched it to be something like this. And we're going to continue switching it out and testing how different thumbnails drive an increase in video plays. Here, we focused on the biggest objection people had or the biggest thing they needed clarification from. And we identified that through looking at the frequently asked questions and looking at the chat conversation. The number one thing was, where do you actually serve? So we added London into the hero, and we also added now serving inside the M25 into the subheading. This line, private chefs at restaurant prices, was a line that we identified performed incredibly well in the paid ads. So we took the best performing paid ads line and we used it for the hero header. So this was a technique that I recommended, and it just means that we validated some of our copy to see which drives engagement and click-throughs. And here we went very literal and specific, hire a private chef to prepare and serve a delicious seasonal menu to you and your guests. And what we wanted to do was bring in social proof into this area. So we introduced a review here, taken from Trustpilot. Finally, we wanted to address the most common objections or doubts that people had. So we looked through the chatbot conversations and we looked at what people were looking at in the frequently asked questions. And we also did some usability testing and asked people about any doubts they may have. And we just decided to directly address them right here in the hero. So from £20 per guest, kitchen left spotless, fresh ingredients included, we bring specialist equipment. A top tip for you is to review how people are engaging with your frequently asked questions and address those questions earlier up on your landing page. Also, this white on pink creates a much more high contrast call to action here. I was very pleased with the changes here to this element. Next up is the element that was really focused on what the business does. Previously, it said what we do, find the perfect chef, guaranteed quality, ideal for a special occasion, book a chef, and a picture of some food. And then it said how we do it, look, book, hello, cook, book a chef. Although I enjoyed the kind of stylistic approach to copywriting, I wanted to clarify and simplify this language. Comprehension on a landing page is really important. People are just scanning, and we don't want to make it more difficult than it needs to be for them to understand. I also thought it would be good to give specific examples of when you might use it. So anniversary, birthday, graduation, supper club, or knees up. There's always a reason to celebrate. And we switched the pictures of food to pictures of people having fun, because to me, that was the key benefit, you and your friends having fun. I also wanted to paint a little bit of pain here. So we introduced this language around unchaining yourself from the kitchen so that you can enjoy your special event in the relaxing company of your friends. Another thing we wanted to do was start to build authority for the private chefs. So we introduced this module showing where the chefs had previously worked, and also started using language that picked up on the fact that they were from London's leading kitchens. Then we implemented a much more simple 3-step guide to how the service works, which is made up of find your date, select your chef, relax and enjoy. And we always make the final thing in the 3-stage step the actual experience. There was this purpose module on the original landing page, and it said why we do it, supporting our chefs and give back. Now, there was something about this that just didn't flow very well. I absolutely love that this is a purpose-driven company, and their partnership with One Feeds Two has actually fed hundreds of people now, which is amazing. However, focusing on the benefits for the chefs probably is a bit confusing to the visitor. I wanted to capture that whilst also talking directly to the person booking. So why we do it is now unforgettable events whilst supporting our chefs and giving back. It just gives this purpose something that not only resonates with the visitor directly, but also shows more about the meaning behind the company. Now, on the first landing page, there was this module which had multiple stages going through photos explaining how it worked, but it wasn't very clear. It was nice and visual, but I just killed it. I just removed it. I wanted a nice, plain, 3-step guide to how the service works. So that module felt repetitive and unclear. Where we had Meet Your Chefs, I looked at how we could enrich the quality of this module. So previously, you could see the various chefs and find out a bit about them. I started to add labels to give more information. So this chef is focused on fine dining, and they're from price, so from £30 a head. And I added a call to action that allowed you to view that chef's profile. And this just means that if you are chef driven, if the chef that you book is important to you, then you can use this call to action to go straight to their menu. And that was very interesting because it is not how most competitors in this space approach this. They tend to be meal-led, not chef-led. I thought it was really critical to go chef-led to stand out in a busy market. Also, to further endorse and add authority to the quality of those private chefs, we listed where they've trained and where they've worked. On the original landing page, we had a frequently asked questions that looked like this. It kind of limited how many we could include. And I also wanted the ability to do some click tracking. I wanted to see what questions people were clicking on to get answers to. So we implemented a carousel style. So you have to click to load the answer. And we quickly identified questions that were frequently asked that we could use to inform the rest of the page. This module is exactly the same. It just brings a richness, it brings food, it brings chefs, and it brings timeliness to the landing page. It's the latest post on Instagram, and I think it works effectively and looks really smart. Finally, there was this call to action for people who aren't yet ready to book. Previously, it looked like this. It kind of floated on the page. It wasn't clearly marked out from the other section, and the language was slightly more dry. What I did is I changed monthly dinner party giveaway to win a dinner party for you and 5 guests. So I used you, which is a power word, and framed it as you and your guests. I also added some emojis to bring some brightness to this section, and we added the background and a nice picture here, which was because this image was used further up the page. We didn't actually change the profiles as part of this exercise, but we did make a change to the reservation funnel. Previously, you would go through and create a menu, and we decided to switch to reserving the chef for your date, and then you would discuss the details afterwards, a bit more like Airbnb. But one thing I was really keen to do was bring the email address earlier into the funnel. So here you click on reserve, and you're going to get first name, last name, email, and how did you hear about us. And what that means is if somebody completes this part of the process but doesn't complete the rest, we already have their name and email. And we've actually managed to generate revenue from people who dropped out of this funnel already by simply dropping them an email and saying, we noticed that you went to complete a booking, you didn't complete it. Are there any questions that you have? So reworking this funnel to simplify it and bring the data collect to the front has actually allowed us to generate more revenue that was almost lost through a leaky funnel. The data to back up these changes is in the works. We are seeing some positive indicators, but I will follow up with how the 2 pages worked. So 2 structurally very similar landing pages, but with totally different copy. And this one, I hope you agree, does a much better job at both increasing the desire to book a chef and decreasing the amount of friction or doubts that the visitor may have. And ultimately, that is what we are trying to do when we rework a landing page. Hope there was something in there that was useful for you that you might consider for your own page. And if you have any questions about the decisions that I made with the founder of this business, I would absolutely love to hear from you, because everything was done very mindfully. Everything was very considered. So I would love to hear what your thoughts are.